Hello, hello. We're a bit later than usual because I might have been watching Dogs on Cuffs, maybe. A little bit. But, you know, that's how it goes. I think we're going to get to the end of this game tonight. I've got a good feeling about this. And if not, then I'll go to easy mode and we'll get to the end of the game that way. Either way, I don't want this game to go on any longer.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life.
He was not ready.
You've been working with Dr.
Sorry.
Wells from the beginning. When we moved to
I
arrest
was like
him,
Speedy.
he was prepared. I lost good soldiers in the attempt. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
Okay, she sounds like Sammy is staring at you. He's just looking at you. Do they pay you by the word? That's great. Let's do that one.
Do you imagine you're leading some grand revolutionary army?
Yes.
Those barbarians from Monarch are running wild in my prison. I suppose I have you to thank for this indignity. You're nothing but a rabble-rouser. I'm going to put an end to your little rebellion, and then I'm going to
Has he
have
stolen
you
a sock?
and your
Yeah, he's stolen a
associates
sock.
arrested.
He's just sat here next to me with a sock in his mouth. Right, I think I'll go with this one and see if I can get Phineas out without causing
You make a
a...
nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No.
No.
Dr. Wells is being held in my custody.
He's now doing
His
the
cooperation
soccer
will prove
tune.
invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him.
No, it's not an easy
All
mode
that's
yet.
left
It's
to
on
do is put down this
normal,
riot,
but we went
arrest
back and
you,
got better
and then
weapons.
get on with the bloody
So
business of saving
hopefully
this
that'll be
colony.
enough. If it isn't, then we'll go on to easy mode. So we'll see. We've got some electric weapons now, some shock weapons, and I'm hoping that that'll be enough to swing the odds in our favour. Put it on easy. I will do. If I die the first time, it's going on easy, and we'll do it from there. But we'll see.
Well, that's mostly correct. You're not leaving here at all.
I probably made exactly the
I
same
take no
choices
pleasure in
last
this,
time.
you know. I
Is
simply have no
Shock.
other option. Leaving you alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain. I had a feeling you'd say that. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Okay. I guess we go in. That's the only way. Saving. Good to know. I should have done this first. So we got things specifically for this. So these are the ones with the electrical bolts. We'll get rid of them instead of one of these. It's like that one is a lightning one. That one is as well, but that's not particularly good. And that one is, but that's not great. So let's go. Right. I got the right one here. Is she already dead? Jeez. And he's against that wall. They're already dead. That's great.
Security mark located.
Okay. I think this is the electrical one. Weapon that I'm using right now. He turned around very quickly then.
Unable to locate target. Please target located.
He is not very good at this charging thing, is he? Okay, the things are here. No. I can't. Why am I? Oh. No. Is that not all of them? No. Nope. Crossed off. Just one. Right, okay, so this is definitely helping.
Required for adjacent automech.
I think that's all of the little things gone for this round. Some more of them, yeah. No, come on. Move. No, I can't do that. Oh?
Terminated.
Oh, I got... I was doing really well. It's doing a lot better because of the gun that I'm using. The gun that I'm using really makes a difference because it's electric. So I have this gun. So it's this one. So that's light. It's light. Let's get rid of that one. We don't want to use... And then we want another one that's like that as well. That's only 300 though. That'll be good, I guess. If I run out, I can use that to stun them. What is that one? Energy. That's not got much damage, but at least if I take it instead of that one. And then heavy. I don't think I've got anything heavy that's I can use. So we'll just keep that one as is. Yeah, okay.
Like we're doing
Whoop.
this.
That is not what I intended. See, dead already. And they're both dead again. They're useful. Yeah, give it time to reload, yeah. I'm not very good at that. I'm impatient. I think I've got friends, yeah, I've got friends. Okay, got them all. Good. Shall we save it here? No, let's save that. We've killed the first round of those, those are the things I actually struggle the most with. More than anything else, because they have a real habit of... Oh, they're back. Huh, they've not got any life, but they're alive. And they're dead. Yeah, I think it is a lot better. It's a lot easier to hide in there. Oof. Are they gonna come in? It's getting a lot more hits off of me than I am. No. one more to do. Can I not save it? Oh, you're joking. Oh no, I've still got some of the other ads. Oh, that's good to know. Oh, and I've got friends. Is it because he loses you at that point? Oh, I cannot.
Oh, that's the last of him.
Did I get him? Yes! Not that I'm happy or anything. Right, I'll just get all of the loot and then get ready to go in that door and hope that I'm not going to end up with more issues in there. Don't think there's anything in these rooms. Yeah, GG. It only took me ages. Right, I'll make sure I've not missed anything. Then we can. I don't think did I kill any in here? Oh, one. Right. Then we'll get prepped going, so I've got to spend my skills and stuff, and then do all of that kind of stuff. Prepare all items. There we go, and let's just increase stuff. Skills. Let's increase all weapon things, dodge and block. Okay. Tier 1. Let's see what else we can have. Oh, he's sleeping by the door. Oh, bless him. Bless him. He's very cute. Let's do that. Okay. Yep. Okay, let's go with that. Let's make sure we save it because I don't want to have to do any of that again. There we go. I knew that would make it a lot easier though. It's amazing how having the right weapon actually, you know, helps. Strange that. I'm hoping I don't have to fight that woman now. But, you know, knowing how these things go, I probably will. And she'll probably be more tough than that boss. Oh, this is looking a bit swanky, isn't it? What's going on here? Which way am I meant to go? That way. Let's have a look over here first then. Don't know whether there's anything actually here. Does this just go down? Yeah, to a sealed exit. Okay. Worth a look though. Maybe like a similar room on the other side. Wonder why this prison's got this like really swanky looking area. Seems a bit odd, right? At least it does to me.
Why won't you just die? Everyone all right?
Okay. I thought I was in for another fight. I think I hit her once.
Get me out of here!
How do I... This way? Where am I supposed to go? Oh, there. The thing that's right next to the door. There we go.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you,
Okay.
you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Let's go with that. Let's see.
I'm all
what they
right,
did to him.
thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
Okay. Let's go with that first one.
Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Hold on, Doc. Are you telling me the Earth went dark 3 years ago, and the board's just been covering this up?
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in the colony who know are standing in this room.
Oh dear.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, you're right. The road is long, and we haven't a moment to waste. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the hope's brightest minds.
A bit
And
like you
then we're
finish the
going to
game and
fix
then
this
suddenly
damn
they're like,
colony,
right, now
one
the real
problem
game
at a
begins.
time.
What? What was I doing
We're
for
going
the
to need
last
a
so many
leader,
hours?
and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? will you help us?
Seems like that first option is probably right. Yeah, yeah, go on.
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves. But I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the Board's authority. But the Board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the Board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The Board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. After returning to Edgewater, the deserters negotiated workplace reforms with Reed Thompson, including a single day of rest, which came to be known as a weekend. As the world around him changed, Thompson found himself pining for the old days. He was known to spend his weekends in the cantina, nursing one of the few remaining bottles of Zero G, and repeating to himself, "It's not the best choice, it's Spacer's choice." As for Adelaide McDevitt, she tended to her garden in solitude for another year before passing away. Her body was discovered some months later, when Reed Thompson paid her a visit in an effort to make amends. Her remains were buried in a place of honor, underneath the floor of the Edgewater Cannery. Reed believed this was what she always wanted. Junlei Tennyson fought to protect the Groundbreakers' independence. While the Board's influence faded, mechanical difficulties forced her to rely on parts that only corporations could provide. The cost was high, and time would tell if Junlei could balance the work with her aspirations for a better future. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the Lifetime Employment Program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the Board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized
Jobs, I
that
know,
the work
what?
of a revolution was done with 2 hands. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. She seemed to prefer the company of Ada to the crew, and she could often be found neck-deep in cables and grease, telling Ada funny stories from her childhood. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. As hard as she tried to drink them away, Nyoka's memories eventually overcame her. Traveling with the crew served as a constant reminder of the family she'd lost, and so she eventually returned to Monarch to get back to what she found most comfortable: the deep end of a bottle and the far end of a trail. Few have seen her since, but travelers often swear they hear her and her machine gun in the night, screaming swears and spitting bullets. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose
He's so
and vigor.
good.
Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
So that's interesting, because that obviously was determined by the choices that I made, because like the colonists, so the rebellious ones coming back into the fold, that was something that I chose to do. So obviously those choices that I made through the game affected what the outcome was. I wonder if certain choices would have ended up with everything falling apart in the end and everyone dying. Oh, thank you for the birds. So yeah, so that was good. I think it went well. Yeah, so that was a lot quicker than I anticipated. So it's whether I start another game now. What do you think? Because I think I downloaded Tomb Raider, so we could start a little bit of that for half an hour. What do we think? Although, actually, it might take a bit of setup, so it might not be worth doing that. I think I've got Tomb Raider Chronicles, but older games take a lot longer to set up than newer games, and I haven't got anything new downloaded other than maybe Dead by Daylight, but I'm not really a fan of that, and yeah, it's not tested. It might take a while to set up, so it's probably not worth doing that now. Yeah, gotta do QA, it's important. So yeah, we'll just leave it there. It'll be a really short stream tonight, 40 minutes. Jeez. Yeah, not what I planned, but it's kind of good that it just shows the difference. So I was stuck on that boss for like hours, and then I went back and got a good weapon, and ended up it taking like half an hour to complete the whole game. So yeah, so it just shows the difference, doesn't it? So yeah, very short stream. So, but yeah, I'll end it there. And yeah, it was a good game though. Bye.